This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Man, Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 4 in the National Football League, the In the Lab Room game of the week. San Francisco 49ers looking for their first home win of the season. Looking for their first win at L.A.B Stadium in the stadium's history versus the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. This was a barn burner, lived up to the hype. I was excited to watch this football game, and these guys did not disappoint. Two teams traveling in opposite directions right now. Eagles, a flawless 3-0 on the season. Hasn't always been pretty. Down 17 in week 1 to Jacksonville at the half. Down by as many as 10 points in Indy. Down by 10 in the first quarter versus Washington in week 3. Winning all 3 of those games. The highest scoring team in the National Football League in the second half coming into this game. Meanwhile, the 1-2 San Francisco 49ers, after their demolition of the Cowboys in week 1, haven't won since. In fact, have lost 2 straight games, haven't scored points in the second half. Lowest total of points scored in the second half of any team in the National Football League coming into this game. So polar opposites. These two teams heading in different directions. This is a huge game for the 49ers. Much like last year this time when they were 1-2, played on Thursday Night Football versus the St. Louis Rams. They need to get back to playing San Francisco 49ers football. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's jump into this game, however, and see if the 49ers could break that streak, get back on track, and get back to 500. And see if they can snap the 3-game winning streak of this Eagles football team who's coming into this game red hot offensively. Cap is sacked on 3rd down, and they were already deep in San Francisco 49ers territory. So when they were sacked on 3rd down, they were essentially at the 2-yard line or so. No space for Andy Lee, the punter, to get this kick off. And any kind of pressure you knew was going to be a problem. And the Eagles special teams unit applied that pressure. Kick is blocked in the end zone, does not go out of bounds. It's recovered by the Eagles just like that. It's 7-0. Philadelphia up on top in this game. Probably the worst start you could have as a San Francisco 49ers fan. 1, you get the ball, you don't do anything with it. And then 2, you turn it over for a touchdown and you're down early in this game. So you don't get the ball after the half and you've already given up 7 points. That's a pretty bad start, if I may say so myself. So, and this is the problem I have with the 49ers. Last year I had the same problem. I'm having the same problem with this team this year. When this team struggles, and I know the defense isn't what it is used to and accustomed to being, but they're missing some parts. There's nothing you can do about that. Those parts won't be back for a while. So you have to circumvent those missing pieces. But offensively, you can control what's going on and you can fix this problem. And it's always the same thing with this 49ers team. When they lose their way offensively, it's because they lose their identity. This is a power running football team. This is a team that plays smash mouth football, beats you up with the run game, overpowers you with multiple sets, 3 tight ends, 6, 7 offensive linemen on the field at once. You know, powerful formations, and rams the football down your throat. And now that you have a backfield that, hey, a mother would love, so would your uncle, your grandfather, and your father's father's father, would all love how this backfield looks with a 1-2 punch of Gore and Hyde. There's no reason for you not to be running the football. No excuses whatsoever for this team not to be pounding the football. And yet, because of all the weapons that you have at receiver now, all of a sudden you got Bolden, you got Krabs, you got Vernon Davis when healthy, and you now have Stevie Johnson. All of a sudden now, you want Cap to spread them out and throw the football all around the field. And you fell into that trap last year and you started the season off 1-2. Same thing this year. Not enough Frank Gore, not enough running game, not enough smash mouth football from this 49ers team. And when that happens, this team struggles. It's no secret. This is the winning formula for this team. Run the football, allow Colin Kaepernick to get out of the pocket off of play action fake, run Cap sometimes off of read option and those student body left plays that they run. Do all of the things that tailor itself to winning in San Francisco. And that's usually all starts with the running game. And this team, sometimes they get cute, they get fancy, and that's when they start losing ball games. That first possession in which Cap was sacked and they had to punt and got the punt blocked and gave up the subsequent touchdown, no rushing attempts on that first drive. And again, you want to get into trouble if you're the 49ers. The best and easiest way to get into trouble, don't run the football. And so that's your end result, 7-0 Eagles up in this game. Niners finally run the football, and guess what happens? They score some points. As they get a field goal out of the drive, it's now 7-3, Eagles still on top. Cap scrambles around and then throws across his body. Normally, this is a no-no. Normally, you're taught never to throw across your body. But Cap is rolling out to his left. He looks over and sees nothing but green grass and one player on the field. And that's Frank Gore. So he jumps in the air, throws across his body, flings it to Frank Gore, who is wide open, so wide open that he catches it and runs 55 yards untouched into the end zone. It's 10-7. 49ers have taken the lead in this game. We move on to the second quarter. 53-yard house call by Malcolm Jenkins as he's able to step in front of a Cap offering and take it the distance. Just like that, the Eagles are back on top in this game, 14-10. Eagles have not scored an offensive point in this game. However, they're still up 14-10. Now, Darren Sproles gets in on the act, and Mighty Mike has probably been the MVP of this team early on in this season. And when they got him in the offseason with that trade with the Saints, I said, man, that's a scary proposition. That guy on this team with that coach, that's a problem. And he's been nothing short of magnificent for this Eagles football team since joining their squad. And he can help you on offense, but this is where his bread is buttered right here. On special teams, this guy is lethal, and he proved it again. 82-yard punt return. It looked like he was pinned to the sideline. Somehow he was able to get up the field, and really, no one laid a finger on this guy. He zoomed in and out of traffic, got down the sideline, and it was just turning on the burners at that point. Gets to the end zone, 82-yard punt return for a touchdown. It's 21-10, and the crazy part about what's transpired in this first half to this point is the 49ers defensively have been lights out in this game. The Eagles offensively has done nothing, which isn't that much of a surprise with the Eagles' track record this season in the first half with their struggles. They struggled against Indy in week 2. They struggled against Jacksonville in week number 1. Offensively in the first half, they've done their damage in the second half. So not that big of a surprise, but after the outpour of points that they had against Washington in week number 3, and you felt like, okay, the receivers got involved, tight ends got involved. We know the backs have carried the load up until that point. So everybody's starting to get it lathered up offensively for this Eagles football team. You felt like they were going to come out and be able to do some things. They did nothing, but yet they're still up 11 in this game because of all of the returns for touchdowns. 2 special teams touchdowns and an interception for a touchdown defensively. They're dominating this game, are the 49ers, from an offensive standpoint, yet they have nothing to show for it. And really from a defensive standpoint, but they're losing the special teams battle, are the San Francisco 49ers, and they're losing this game 21-10. 49ers add a late 51-yard field goal to go to the half down 8 at 21-13. Cap was pressured like crazy in that first half, and that was something I didn't expect. First of all, I expected the 49ers to run the football. They didn't run it as much as I would have liked to see them run it in the first half. And by them dropping back and throwing the football as much as they did, Cap was under duress. And I did not expect that. And it was funny because Anthony Davis came back in this game, and it was his first game playing all season long, and he left the game literally after a quarter of work. He was out of the game with an injury. So this team could not protect Colin Kaepernick. He was running for his life in that first half. And the Eagles, who haven't gotten the most pressure in the world in the first 3 games of the season, it was a little odd to see that. I mean, they got pressure on Andrew Luck in week 2, but outside of that, they really didn't get a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins. No sacks in that game in week 3, and in week 1 against Jacksonville, they got a little bit of pressure on Chad Henne in the second half, but they didn't get any pressure on him in the first half, and that's why he was able to carve them up. So it was funny to see them getting the amount of pressure that they did. And Kaepernick was under duress that entire first half. That was something that the 49ers had to clean up if they were going to have any success in the second half, in addition to running the football more. So we move to the third quarter. Zach Ertz fumbles, forced by, and I thought this was Antoine Bethea's best game as a 49er. He had an interception in this game. He forced a fumble. He was all over the field. He was blitzing. He was in the backfield. He was doing just about everything you could ask out of a guy coming in and replacing Dante Whitner. He looked like a guy that was going to help this defense get back to where we're used to seeing this 49ers defense be as a team. And so he was all over the field, and this was a huge play in the game. First possession out of the gate, Eagles looking to do what they've done all season long, and that's score points in the second half. They get off to a rough start as Antoine Bethea rips the football out. Parrish Cox is helping on the play to come push and escort Zach Ertz out of bounds. And look what I found. And the ball ends up right in his chest as he's going to tackle him. And he just squeezes, ball's in his hands, and he's able to get 2 feet down. And so it's 49ers football at the Eagles' 23-yard line. But I talked about Cap being under duress. He's sacked 2 times on this possession as the 49ers are going to have to attempt a long field goal, except they're bailed out by Kerry Williams on 3rd down with a holding penalty, which nets them a first down and leads to a 12-yard Stevie Johnson touchdown grab on 3rd and 10. And this was a beautiful throw. 2 beautiful components on this play. One was the ability for Cap to throw it on the run and put it in a pinpoint accurate, precise spot. It had to be where it was. There was a defender right there next to Stevie Johnson in the end zone, and the ball had to be where it was placed, and that was a great throw by Cap. And the catch and the body control and the presence of mind to get both feet in, and everything that Stevie Johnson did on this play was phenomenal. Feet placement to not step out of bounds, to get the ball, catch it away from your frame, have the presence of mind to make sure you get both of your feet down, to maintain possession of the football throughout the catch, and to not have something go wrong there, to keep the feet in, keep them together, to stretch out for the football, to bring the football in, to take a hit from a defensive back and hold on to the football. That's how you do it. I mean, that's how you teach the little kids in Pee-wee how to do it right there. I mean, that was beautiful execution on the part of Stevie Johnson. And so now the score is 21-20. Philadelphia is still up in this game, but the 49ers now have a little bit of momentum. 49ers take their first lead since the first quarter on a 46-yard field goal. It's now 23-21. 49ers up in this game. 13 unanswered points. Remember, the score at one point after the Mighty Mike 82-yard punt return was 21-10. So we're talking 13 unanswered points by the 49ers at this point as we head to the fourth quarter. Great 22-yard grab by Krabs on 3rd and 10. Then a bogus, and it's funny, I was talking to a 49ers fan at the barbershop, and he's one of these extremely biased 49ers fans. So everything is pro 49ers. And he had a conspiracy theory. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, first of all. And his conspiracy theory was terrible. But he did make a valid point in his whole concocted story about how the league wants the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl again. He did say one thing that was very pertinent, and that's the 49ers have endured bad calls all season long that have impacted games greatly. That is a fact. Despite how far-fetched a lot of his stories were about how the league wants this to happen and that to happen, that is a fact that you can't dispute. And this was another bad call. They called Carrier, your backup tight end, for offensive pass interference on a play where not only did he not touch an Eagles receiver, he didn't even do anything remotely close or wrong to have a flag drawn for pass interference on the offensive side of the football. I don't know what the officials were looking at. And that was the second time in this game where the 49ers were flagged for something erroneous. And I don't know what these officials are doing. I don't understand. But at some point, the league has to stop doing this to the 49ers. This is the third week that I can recall where I'm saying to myself, what kind of call is that? I mean, and these aren't, 5-yard. These are personal fouls. These are some big, crucial penalties. This was a huge one here on this pass interference. And so Chip Kelly had the choice because that pass interference happened on 3rd down. He could have declined that penalty, which would have brought up 4th down, or he could accept it, push the 49ers back. They still would have been in field goal range had they not gained another yard. They would have still been in field goal range for Phil. The boot just would have been a tougher field goal. And most coaches in the league decline that penalty, make it 4th down, force the 49ers to kick a field goal. Chip Kelly wants to be smart. He wants to accept the penalty, push the 49ers back, and make it 3rd and 13. Well, at the time, I said, I guess I see what you're doing because the 49ers haven't done much in terms of passing the football in the air, but I'm not buying that. I never want to give a team another chance on 3rd down to pick up a 1st down. Unless it's already 3rd and 17, and this 10-yard penalty is going to make it 3rd and 27, and it's going to push them out of field goal, there's no way I'm taking the penalty here. And so to make it 3rd and 13, the 49ers can pick up 13 yards. Why give them another chance to do that? And he almost paid for it as the 49ers run student body left. Cap pulls it out. It's a run all the way. Guys are pulling all over the place. He gets to the outside, gets 15 on the play, and picks up a 1st down. Luckily enough for him, the drive bogs down, and the 49ers have to settle for another field goal. They knock it home. It's now 26-21. But he could have had that blow up in his face. And sometimes Chip Kelly can roll the dice. Look, scare money don't make money. But sometimes you got to be smart and know when to fold it and when to call somebody's bluff. And that might have been an opportunity for the 49ers to really stick it to Chip Kelly and his Eagles football team. But they missed the boat on that opportunity. It's now 26-21. Eagles still in this football game. That's 16 unanswered San Francisco 49er points if you're scoring at home. Jeremy Maclin did this to the Redskins last week, and he did it again this week with a phenomenal catch on 3rd and long. Last week, it was a huge catch on 3rd and 14. He catches it for 17 yards, a diving grab, gets his feet down. Just one of the best catches you'll see all season. He did it again in this game, and this one was even on a grander scale. This time, it's 3rd and 14, and he catches a 21-yard, one-handed tremendous grab, gets both feet down, gets the hand out there, stops the impact of the ball, is able to pull it in. You can't do it much better than that, folks. I mean, that right there is picture perfect on how to make a spectacular diving grab by the sidelines, and that could have been a backbreaker. I mean, after seeing that, the crowd is involved. The defense is standing up. You got them in 3rd and long, right where you want them, and to see that happen, that could have been demoralizing, but this 49ers defense stood up. And so they get all the way down after that catch. It's challenged. It's not overturned. They get all the way down to the 8-yard line, do the Eagles. It's 1st and goal from the 8. They actually get down to the 1 yard line. After first down, they pick up 7 yards down to the 1 yard line. Or excuse me, after second down, they pick up 7 yards to make it 3rd and goal from the 1. 2 opportunities to get in. Remember, you're down 5. A field goal could help you, but then you're banking on the fact that you're getting the football back with a chance to win. You want to get the 7. You get this close, you want to get the 7 and take the lead. And so that's what Chip Kelly was going to do. So essentially, you're talking 2 opportunities from the 1 yard line to get in, and the Eagles failed to do so as the 49ers defense comes up huge. But Eagles still have all 3 of their timeouts and enough time that if they get a stop, force the punt, they can get the football back with a chance to win this football game. And so the Eagles get 1 more try after the 49ers go 3 and out. But with little time and no timeouts, Nicholas Foles is picked off by Parrish Cox on 4th and long to seal this game up as the San Francisco 49ers get off the schneid and snap that 2-game losing streak, 26-21, in an exhilarating game. Had all the components of some late game drama, and it turned out to have everything that we were looking for and then some. This was a phenomenal defensive effort, and this is what we're looking for from the 49ers. This is what we've been accustomed to. The 49ers have spoiled us defensively. This is what we're used to seeing. Eagles scored no offensive points in this game, and the team coming into week number 4 with the most second half points scored a big goose egg in the second half as the 49ers stifled and stymied this Eagles offense, allowing them to put no points up on the scoreboard. 49ers needed this. They needed this win back. They needed this win in the worst way, and they got it. And you started to see some of that identity come back. Frank Gore had a big game. They were able to run the football. They need to do more of that. The rushing attack, I think, was the key to this game. Cap got involved in the running game. Gore was huge in the running game. You even sprinkled in a little bit of Carlos Hyde. You have to run the football. That is the winning formula in San Francisco. You got it done 26-21. Big win for the 49ers. Tough loss for the Eagles. You'll lament the fact that you had opportunities. When you get 3 returns for touchdowns, 2 on special teams, 1 defensively, you're supposed to win the game. And if you're the Eagles, to not have your offense chip in at all and to have a chance to still win, you got to feel fortunate to have your special teams and defense show up in that capacity. But offensively, you got to feel like your offense let you down in this game, and then you had a chance to steal one on the road and you let it slip through your fingers. But nonetheless, hats off to the 49ers for getting it done. I still have confidence in this 49ers team, but they have got to be better at calling the game, and they've got to be more sound rushing the football. This is a rushing football team. Never lose sight of that. When you do, that's when bad things happen. And also, they've got to be much more disciplined, and the officials have to stop making these egregious calls against this 49ers team. If it's a flag, throw the flag, but if it's not, keep the flag in your pocket. And so that's going to do it for the game of the week here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I've got one more game to break down in week number 4 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.